What's up guys, I'm Nick, founder of Spoiled Brat Films, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. We're gonna do more videos like this in the future, so if you like what you see, please subscribe. It's been a while since I made one of these types of videos, but as you all know, the world has been flipped upside down these last few months, so my focus has been on other things, including a short film that I put out a few months ago called Nikki. It's a coming-of-age dramedy. If you guys want to watch it, I'll leave a link in the description. It would mean the world to me if you guys check that out, so please consider watching it. But I know that's not what you guys are here for. You're here to hear my thoughts on The Babysitter Killer Queen. The Babysitter Killer Queen is Netflix's new movie. It's a sequel to 2017's The Babysitter, directed by Mick G and starring Samara Weaving. Now, I really love that first Babysitter film. I feel like even despite like the juvenile humor on the surface, I still feel like it was executed really, really well. Samara Weaving is a goddess. She can do no wrong in my eyes, and I just felt like the cast overall was really great in that first film. It was funny, gory, and just a blast to watch. So I was really excited for this when they announced it and they put out the trailer. So what do I think about it? Well, to be honest, I didn't really love it. Now don't get me wrong, I did like the film. I had a lot of fun with it, but it is still very flawed and I don't think it's anywhere as good as the first one. But with that said, let's break down some of my thoughts on The Babysitter Killer Queen. First of all, let's talk about the cast. Judah Lewis and Emily Allen Lynn both return as Cole and Melanie respectively. I think they were both good once again. I actually think that Emily Allen Lynn was kind of underutilized. I think for what they did with her in this movie, they could have actually used her a lot more. She's a really talented actress, so I think she really could have pulled off what they wanted from her had they given her more to do in this film. But overall, her and Judah Lewis, they're both really good in this movie, just like the first one. We have some new cast members, one of them being Jenna Ortega, and I think that she's probably the highlight of the film. I really enjoyed her performance. I think she did a good job as the rebellious Phoebe. She got casted recently in Scream 5, so after seeing her in this, I'm really excited to see what she brings to that film because I'm a huge Scream fan. It's my favorite horror film. It's my favorite horror franchise. So I'm really looking forward to what she could bring to that franchise. The rest of the cast is enjoyable enough. I mean, we have all of the cult members coming back like Bella Thorne and Robbie Amell and King Bach. You know, they're fine in this movie, I guess. I think they worked way better in the first film. I actually thought they were all really funny in the first film and brought a lot to their performances, but in this one, they're not given the best material to work with, which I'll get to later with the writing and the dialogue. The dialogue is really cringy, but we'll get to that later. Some of the jokes work for me, some of them don't, but I mean, overall it was fine. I think Robbie Amell probably had the funniest parts to me. King Bach, a lot of his stuff didn't work. I don't know if he improvised a lot on set or if he was just reading straight from the script, but he didn't really work for me this time around, and I actually really liked him in the first one like everyone else. The parents are back and they actually have some more screen time this time around, especially Melanie and Cole's dads. They have their own little subplot, and to be honest, I wasn't really feeling their scenes that much. I really could have done without their scenes. The humor just didn't land for me. Like, you could tell they try to aim their jokes, especially with the parents, towards a younger audience, and it just really didn't land for me. It's obvious that an older man wrote the script, so it just came off kind of cringy, honestly. Thankfully, they're not in the movie that much. It's more than the first film, but it's still not that much, so it wasn't a huge deal. Overall, it just felt like an older man writing for a younger audience, not knowing what the younger audience finds funny. Like, they bring up Fortnite and all this other stuff, and it didn't work for me. What did work for me though is Carl McDowell. He comes back as the school nurse, and I think he is absolutely hilarious in this film. I think he might even be funnier than the first film. The first film he had like, I think, one scene, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that, but in this movie, he has a couple of scenes and they're hilarious in my opinion. I think he's really funny, and he was truly a highlight in this film, even with the small amount of screen time that he has. That said though, I mean, it was great to see all of the characters back. Like I said earlier, I enjoyed them all in the first film, and it was cool to see them back, and they made some callbacks to things that happened in the first one, to like each individual character, and some of them felt forced, but again, I just enjoy these characters so much that it wasn't a huge deal to me. Now let's talk about the kills and the gore. Once again, this film is very gory, but I feel like they amp it up even more in this film. They go a little bit even more over the top and outrageous and bloody, but it really worked for me. Again, I liked all of the kills. There were a couple kills, like, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it. This is a spoiler-free review. But there's one kill in particular that the kill itself was really fun, really gory, and had me like, oh, I can't believe that's happening. But there's something that happens before the kill and after the kill that I felt like was just super unnecessary and didn't work for me. I'll just say this, it might be a slight spoiler for those who haven't seen the movie, but so you could just skip a few seconds. But for the people who have seen the movie, it involves a deer and a boulder. So you should probably know what I'm talking about. Those particular two elements I thought were super unnecessary, and if I did a spoiler review I could be more specific, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It felt super unnecessary. The kill alone was so dope. Like the kill was really gory and just made me like, oh damn. But yeah, I don't know, I guess McG just always wants to take it an extra level. I mean, I feel like in this film they knew how outrageous the first film was, and they were like, let's make it even more outrageous, let's make it even more obvious. And just, it's like you had a perfect balance in that first film of the over-the-top bloody kills, the juvenile humor, and the heart and the emotion in that relationship between Cole and B. And this time around, like, some of the emotional parts worked, but some of it felt forced, and a lot of the jokes felt forced, but whatever. But besides that one part, I really didn't have any problems with the gore and the kill. I liked all of it. I thought it was awesome. Now let's talk about the writing. Like I mentioned earlier, some of the dialogue is just really bad. It's like really cringy, especially during the parts with the parents, but not even just that, just in general, there's a lot of lines that I was like, ugh. Like, I get that this film is supposed to be like really juvenile, and I keep saying that word, I'm sorry, but that's the perfect way to describe this movie specifically, is juvenile. And sometimes that worked with the first film. This film, not so much. Now I will say, if you haven't seen the trailer yet for this movie, don't watch it, because in my opinion, I think the trailer is actually really spoilery. This film is one of those types of films where it's like twist after twist after twist, but the problem was they spoiled, in my opinion, a lot of the twists in the trailer. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but there's certain things, certain choices they made in this movie that had I not seen the trailer, I would have been like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. Just watching the trailer, I was like, okay, I know this is gonna happen. I know this is gonna happen. So that kind of ruined it for me. Now, if you don't want any type of spoilers, again, just skip ahead a little bit. I'm not really gonna spoil. I'm gonna try my hardest not to spoil it, but just in case, if you're really strongly against spoilers, then just skip ahead. But there's one particular part of the film that involves a certain character that makes a really bold choice. They explain why that character made this choice, and it's a pretty funny explanation. And it actually, I feel like, really relates to this current generation, but I don't feel like they went deep enough with that character's motives, if that makes any sense. Like, I like the explanation, but I think they could have went deeper with it. The choice that this character makes is really against what was previously set up with this character, which is fine and it works in the film, but I felt like they just needed to go a little bit deeper with explaining why this character made that choice. It just felt like that character made that big decision without any type of hesitation, despite how they were set up earlier in the film. So I feel like there should have been a little bit more. There should have been more of an explanation. It's hard to really talk about it. Again, if you guys want me to do a spoiler review, I absolutely will, because I have a lot of thoughts on this film that are spoilery. But yeah, this film takes certain risks that I really applaud it for. But again, I just feel like they do it without really any real explanation of why it's happening. And there's a couple of things that happen in the film like that, but this one that I'm talking about in particular really bothered me. That said, I really like the ending of this film. I like how they wrapped everything up, and if they didn't make another babysitter movie, I would be fine. Maybe I'd feel differently if I liked this movie more, but honestly, even if I loved this movie, I think the way that they ended it is a good place to just stop it. Overall, the film is flawed, but I think it's still enjoyable. If you liked the first film, you might have some fun with this one. If you didn't like the first film, then don't even bother watching it. I don't think this is gonna change your tune. Though I've seen the current Rotten Tomatoes audience score, and it's higher than the audience score for the first film, which really shocks me, because I do not think this movie even holds a candle to the first one. The first one was one of my favorite movies of 2017. It's easily McG's best film, and one of Samara Weaving's better films as well, even though she's great in everything she does. And you know, Ready or Not is probably the best thing she's done so far, but The First Babysitter took me by surprise, and I really love that one. This one, not so much, but who knows, maybe if I rewatch it, it'll grow on me. But as of right now, if I had to score it, I would probably give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. That's how I feel about it. I feel like it's a decent film. The kills are great. It's bloody, it's gory. The cast is great all around. Jenna Ortega is great. Emily Allen Lynn and Judah Lewis are both great. Carl McDowell is funny as hell. Parents don't really work for me, but it's not a huge deal. They're only in it a little bit. Some of the jokes work, some of them don't land at all. Dialogue is not as strong as the first one. Forgot to mention this earlier, but this film once again is really stylized. Like in the first one, they had him in the car getting ready to drive it into the house. They had like the numbers show up like on the dashboard, and earlier in the film, when B and Cole are talking about who they would want on their spaceship as part of their team, they show like when B's talking about hers, they show it all on the side, like all the names and the pictures of each person on the team, each character. They do that once again in this film. There's actually a whole entire random ass dance number in this film, which I oddly didn't hate. That might be divisive, but I actually didn't hate it despite how over the top and random it is. There's also this big fight scene between two characters that they try to make it look like an old arcade fighting game like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, which, I mean, at that point in the movie, everything was so over the top that I was fine with it, I guess. I didn't love it, but whatever. I mean, it's not surprising for this film, so it really wasn't a big deal. I'm making it seem like it's a bigger deal than it is. It's not, at least for me. I don't know how you guys will feel about it, but it's fine. Again, if I'm fine with the damn dance number, I'm okay with the Mortal Kombat type of thing. That's cool. Now, going into this film, the big thing with a lot of people was Samara Weaving not being a part of it. You could definitely feel her lack of presence in this film. She was such a big part of why that first film worked so well, that not having her presence as prominently in this one definitely hurt the film a bit. But like I said, I really enjoyed the rest of the cast, and they really showed up and showed out for what they were given. So it kind of makes up for it at least a little bit. So I will say, if you consider not watching the film just because of that, I wouldn't say to do that. I wouldn't recommend that. If that's something that was making you not want to watch the film, and that was like the only reason why you were considering not watching it, then I wouldn't recommend skipping it. Watch it anyways. If you didn't have any other reasons for not watching it, then you'll still enjoy this one, I think. Just give it a shot. Well, you know my thoughts on The Babysitter Killer Queen. Now, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments how you liked the movie. Did you enjoy it as much as the first one? Did you enjoy it more than the first one? Because I have seen people say that they enjoyed it more than the first one, which I think is crazy, but to each their own. I'm never gonna tell somebody that they can't enjoy a movie. If you like this one, more power to you. I was really looking forward to it. I wish that I enjoyed it as much as some people seem to be enjoying it. So if you liked it, let me know. If you disliked it, let me know. If you thought it was meh, let me know. Also, tell me if you guys want a spoiler review, because I will do it if you guys want it. If not, then it's fine. I hope that this review was good enough for you guys, but if you want the spoiler review, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to get that to you guys. And that's it. If you guys like this review, follow me on Letterboxd. I review a lot of movies on there, short reviews, brief reviews, but you'll definitely get more of my movie opinions on there than you will on here. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't subscribe to this channel. You absolutely should, because we're gonna get way more videos out there for you guys. I hope you guys are doing safe during this tough time. I know it's been crazy, but I hope that I was able to bring you guys a little bit of entertainment through this video. And again, if you want to see more, subscribe, like this video, share it. It's the only way that I'm gonna know that you guys want this. If you guys don't want it, then I just won't do it. That's fine. That's totally cool. But if you guys do want it, you gotta let me know, because I'm doing this for free just like most YouTubers, and I need your support. It's the biggest thing that you can do. Check out my short film Nikki, and follow me on social media. I'll see you guys next time.